So when programs are launched from an HR perspective, they tend to be very generic, and are not really, doesn't really speak to the employees within the organization. From an HR perspective, it is important to understand your audience being the general employee that works for you. Where do most of our employees come from? What information is critical for them? And how can we speak to that? How does it resonate with those employees? Because it could be that, yes, we sent out an email about financial wellness and nobody responded. Maybe that's not the best form of communication within the organization, because most of our employees are getting tens, 20, hundreds of emails a day. And it's tough to prioritize what is important. And inevitably, your internal communications tend to take a back burner compared to information that is critical to your specific job. So it is important from an HR perspective to understand, how do we get a message across and how does it resonate with our employee base? So from my perspective, it is important where you go and say that this is the employees that we have. Let's say that a large portion of our employees come from a marginalized or background. It could be that they were previously disadvantaged, and that's a large portion of how do we speak to that? And what generally goes, what comes along, on their path when it comes to the financial side? How many dependents are there? Is there, money I need to send back to the village that I come from or the town that I come from? And what do I have to do to make certain that my family is well supported financially? So once you start to think about those kind of things, the backgrounds of a lot of employees, it is important then to change your messaging that it resonates with somebody. So it could be that, I come from a background which, we didn't start off too well off. I'm a lot better off now, but that wasn't always the case. And it is important for me because I know that if somebody speaks to me and says, listen, we know where you come from, but we also understand where you want to go. And with financial wellness, we can speak to that and say that this is the path potentially you can go to make certain that, you're not over indebted. If you are over indebted, how can we address that kind of over indebtedness to make certain that you back in the green rather than spend your whole life in the red, paying off a credit card with a credit card. So it is important that HR representatives within an organization understand where the employees are coming from and try to resonate with that so that they can then buy in rather than force something that's generic onto the organization, because we need to tick a box from an HR perspective, and job done.